let's start off where I want to start off. Penguinzo says Twitch is dead.
Clickbait. There was a new policy on Twitch that was announced today that will legitimately destroy the platform, with the majority of streamers choosing to go elsewhere if it goes into effect. Now, this was announced like 3 or 4 hours ago, but I decided to wait a little bit to see what Twitch would respond with because the backlash has been considerable. Everyone is rightfully furious about this, and I just kind of wanted to let it all simmer, let Twitch kind of marinate in this witch's cauldron here and see how they would respond to all of it. So I went and played basketball, which is why I'm very sweaty right now, and I've just got home, and it turns out they did respond. I expected them to respond with something like...
Titles and clickbait? Okay, bro. I mean, look, first of all, Charlie played basketball before this, okay? That's how you know the severity of the situation. He came in sweaty, looking hot and bothered. But what I will say is, yes, if Twitch implements what they're talking about, then it is... You know, it's massively, it's a massive issue. It's a massive problem. I don't know if it would cause the end of Twitch, but it would make the platform worse overall. Okay, certainly. We'll get to it. I'm sure Charlie will cover it. I need to grab a jacket. I'm
cold. Our sincerest apologies. Earlier this afternoon, we were coming down with a severe case of big idiot disease. Turns out one of our employees replaced our water with plutonium and stupid juice. So we had... radioactive brain rot when we came up with this idea. We're scrapping it. We're sorry. That's what I expected. But they went in a different direction. They went with a very pathetic attempt to save face and backpedal. So we're just going to go over this whole situation from top to bottom here. It was revealed today that Twitch has put sponsored content and branded content in their crosshairs to try and slap. So formats permitted with the new guidelines on branded content on Twitch are logos on stream, so branded overlays are limited to 3% of screen size at most. So any branded overlays can only be 3% of screen size. That means like if you have a G Fuel sponsorship or something, you can only have like G Fuel in the 3% of your screen area. You can no longer have burned in video ads, meaning you can't play like your own ads during it or ads of another brand that's working with you. You also can't have display ads, so like banner ads, which is a big one because a lot of sponsored game streams require banner ads, which completely removes that, which is a huge hit to most streamers. We'll get into the specifics in a moment. And then you can't have audio ads played during streams. Now they clarify what is allowed, which is branded panels on the channel page or showcasing products in the stream background or links to other sites that promote things, discussing, endorsing, or unboxing products, and playing sponsored games. The last one's a little silly considering that when you play sponsored games, part of that package almost always includes at least one of the things that is now forbidden with the new policy changes they're toying around with. Now all of these are huge changes. A lot of streamers have talked about this. I've talked about this. The vast majority of revenue...
I recall before the parasocial era, Twitch viewers were calling for a limit on how much screen space was occupied by advertisements. I've literally never heard that before. I don't understand why someone would have an issue with that. The 3% advertisement is specifically about like, you know, it's usually like an ad placement, right? That's how big it normally is. But it's dumb because, like, no one really abides by that because you just resize it on your own. Like, this is, I don't know what percentage the Kaya Cam is occupying right now. I don't know what percentage the Kaya Cam is occupying at this moment. I don't know what percentage the Kaya Cam is occupying at this moment. You know, that kind of thing is, like, really fucking silly. Now, there used to be an anti-shill mentality. Okay, that makes sense. Like, being anti-advertisement makes sense. I'm sure that there was, like, a point where people were like, oh, I don't like that. I know that doesn't matter. You want to know how I know that doesn't matter? Not a single one of those, like, old-school Twitch watchers will ever praise someone like myself for not really having any sponsorships whatsoever that I deliberately keep that way. So, ultimately, I'm pretty sure that is irrelevant in this conversation. That those days are long gone, and even then it doesn't really matter. I think most people are frustrated by the ads that come at the top of the hour, the 3-minute ad break, for example, which comes at the top of every hour. That's what people are upset about, like unskippable ads, which I think is an issue. Now, of course, if you want to skip those ads on this broadcast, you can subscribe for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime, or by getting gifted a sub. I have fallen off. I am hemorrhaging subscribers, apparently, according to some of my haters on Twitter who have been paying closer attention to my subscriptions than I have. As far as Twitch's sponsorship changes goes, it's already in the fucking terms of service, but them putting this out there makes it seem like they're going to actually follow through on it. It's in the YouTube terms of service, as Mogul Mail also brought up yesterday. Okay, Twitch made this ridiculous announcement in the middle of the night, as they usually do. Okay, and obviously there was a lot of backlash around it, but I don't really care from the perspective of what watchers used to think about ad space or whatever. I look at this as someone who is only talking about it from the perspective of a content creator generating value for the platform and what the platform's decisions mean for said content creators and why they are taking this action against the content creators. Twitch is trying to siphon more money from their content creators, okay? That's it. That's the only reason. It is absolutely unbearable to have this conversation over and over again with people who are hitting it from any other angle. This is what companies do, okay? Amazon wants Twitch to be profitable, and instead of finding unique ways of expanding into a broader audience base with marketing initiatives and new products that you are releasing, instead of finding new mechanisms for monetization, Twitch has decided to do what companies have done time and time again: milk the workers. Now, of course, it sounds funny when you say workers because, work omegalol, job omegalol, you're a Twitch streamer. I mean labor and work strictly from who is generating the value sense. It doesn't mean that, Twitch streamers are working in the fucking coal mines. Obviously not. We have pretty cushy gigs overall. There's obviously some negative sides to this job that many of us hide, but other than that, it's pretty good. You know, I've worked a normal job and I've done this, and let me tell you something. It's much nicer. I have a lot more autonomy. Okay. As I was stating, Twitch popping off like this is a tale as old as time itself. You have a larger company that owns you, that decides to squeeze you into becoming more profitable. And then that company tells you to make decisions. You panic and you make decisions that actually end up harming the content creators because you're squeezing them for a little bit more value to get out of them, which ultimately makes, it's ultimately what Amazon does all the time. Twitch currently does not hold a full monopoly over the live streaming space, but is pretty powerful in the space. Its competitors have fallen off. They're either completely irrelevant projects like DLive, or they are, they've gone the way of default like Mixer, which was owned by Microsoft, or it's YouTube, and YouTube doesn't care too much about the live streaming space right now. So Twitch doesn't really have any significant, serious competition in the live streaming space, which is why they can get away with this, because what are you going to do? Go stream on Rumble? Are you going to go stream on Kick? That's usually what Twitch's mentality is in this space. Are you going to go to Facebook? You're going to go to Facebook Gaming. A lot of these platforms have benefits and negatives. They have positives and negatives, but ultimately there's a reason why I like to always say YouTubers like MoistCr1TiKaL, for example, still stream on Twitch for a reason. MoistCr1TiKaL has 12 million subscribers, 13 million subscribers on YouTube, yet here he is not live streaming on YouTube. He's live streaming on Twitch. That is a very clear and very obvious benefit. That implies that there's a very obvious benefit to streaming on Twitch, okay? Whether it could be diversifying your revenue streams, or whether it's because it's the best live streaming platform out there right now. Twitch knows that, and that is precisely why they make actions like this, because they think you can't really go anywhere. Good luck. This is where the audience is. This is where the revenue is. And, you got nothing else going on. You can't really go anywhere else. He says that he's later trying to leave Twitch later in his video. That's fine. But I'm talking about right now as it stands. The reason why I'm talking about right now as it stands is because I need you to understand why Twitch is able to make these decisions. Do you get what I'm saying? People might leave because of said decisions now, But the reason why Twitch thinks they can make these decisions is because of the things that I just mentioned. Do you understand? That's why Twitch thinks it has a damn near monopoly on the live streaming space. Chica 4273, thank you for the 521 gift.
A streamer generates is through sponsorships, whether it's sponsored game deals for like X amount of hours streaming a game, or just ancillary partnerships with other brands that you will promote during your stream. That's where the majority of streamers' revenue comes from. Like almost all of the top 500 streamers, that is their biggest driver of revenue. Subs and donations are a small part compared to sponsorships. So Twitch targeting that is like the only decision they could make that legitimately would drive all of their top 500 streamers elsewhere if they can no longer pursue partnerships comfortably on the platform. This is a platform destroying moment. This is up there with Tumblr banning porn, or that day that OnlyFans decided they were going to ban porn. It is it's Armageddon for the platform. This would sink Twitch, without exaggeration. Let's talk about some more specific examples. Tournaments, video game tournaments, or even just any general events could no longer function on Twitch because for those tournaments to exist, they have sponsors. And as part of those sponsorship packages, the events, like a Smash event or a Valorant event, are obligated to play those sponsored ads.
I'll pause this for a second and just say this. It is so insane that I didn't even for a second take this as seriously as every other content creator did. Well, one, I didn't because like I don't ever take any sponsorships to begin with. And two, I didn't take it seriously because like it's such a insane change that there is no way in hell that they would go through with this, because they would eradicate the one area that they actually dominate everywhere else on, okay, across the board. And that is live events. People still come to Twitch for video game releases because Twitch has drops. People still come to Twitch for live events because this is the live event platform, okay? Sponsored, streamed live events is what people watch here. Esports is what people watch here. That's fucking nuts. That is so profoundly stupid. Like, there's just no way. There's no way that they would do that. Because it would literally be like taking a gun out and shooting yourself in the foot first and then in the head for no fucking reason, okay? You're not using the gun to shoot someone else. You're not using the gun to rob a bank. You're just killing yourself for no reason, out of nowhere.
During the event, which has now entered Santa Claus's naughty list here on Twitch. It's illegal. You're going.
Do people really drink G Fuel or play World of Tanks? Lamau, Crimea River, top 500 streamers. Hee hee. Well, I'm in the top 500. I don't have a single fucking sponsorship. And let me tell you, a lot of people that are in the especially bottom of the top 500, or a lot of normal, smaller Twitch streamers, absolutely rely on the additional income to be able to consistently stream. And also, it shouldn't even be a limitation, because if you want to make, if you are a professional streamer, if you're a streamer, okay, and that's the way you want to generate revenue, then it's ridiculous that a platform would stop you from doing that. Like, why is the platform trying to take away your decision power in how you want to generate revenue? Well, I know why. It's because Twitch wants to make more money. They want to be the ones who are the people responsible for selling you ads so that they can take a cut off of those ads. If they were offering this as a purely voluntary way to do such a thing, then that's great. Maybe a lot of small streamers would maybe take advantage of the Twitch advertisement sales team. They wouldn't have to do any of the big business deals. They wouldn't have to do any of the red line. They don't have managers, let's say, possibly. And now they can use Twitch's legal team and all of its other offerings to be able to conduct these deals. They don't have an in-house sales team, so now Twitch's in-house sales team helps them out. If this was purely voluntary, then that's great. But it's not purely voluntary. Matter of fact, this would be a gigantic limitation. Let's continue.
The fucking slammer, you're going to jail if you play a sponsored ad during your stream from these policy changes. So let's take, for example, Valorant. Valorant has an eBay deal. So during intermission in between games and Valorant broadcasts, they play eBay ads. Not anymore. Not anymore, Buster. You can't do that shit yet, you outlaw. Listen here, Bubba. No more of that shit. Now, there's something very interesting to note here is that YouTube actually has a similar policy that a lot of people are bringing up to compare the two right now. But Twitch's enforcement and the way that they spoke about it seems very different than the enforcement of YouTube. And from everything I've read, YouTube doesn't really enforce this policy even at all to begin with. It's just kind of there as a blanket in case things get exploited or misused.
No, it's a blanket in case YouTube, just like Twitch is doing right now, wants to extract more revenue out of their content creators. That's why it's there. Make no mistake. Maybe it has a secondary component to like ending some level of exploitation or whatever, or not, some like weird third-party ad service that's like taking advantage of the situation or something. I don't know, taking advantage of like content creators or whatever. But the real reason why is because they want to extract more revenue, not from the fucking consumers who are on the purchase side of the product, but from the contracted employees that aren't like full-time employees. They're content creators. They get a 1099 from ABC if they're at YouTube, or a 1099 from Amazon if they're at Twitch. Those are the people they are trying to squeeze in order to try and make the company more profitable.
But either way, there is something comparable on YouTube, but not nearly as egregious or as frightening as what Twitch is proposing. Now, when this policy change first got announced, we immediately tried reaching out to as many people as possible for some clarity, because the way that it reads seems like it's going to have a massively detrimental impact on our esports org, MoistCr1TiKaL, thanks to the way we do our watch parties. And
our ABC alphabet, Google.
All the information we've gathered, it seems like we're in some fucking hot water there, which is not good. Opera GX sponsors our esports team, and as part of that sponsorship deal, during our watch parties when we're cheering on our teams, we play our own custom Opera GX ads that we made ourselves with green screen, like where I'm a pirate or a fisherman, those kind of really goofy over-the-top ads, we play those. But now that whole concept is more forbidden than human transmutation in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. We can't do that anymore, which is a huge hit to our esports org, since Opera GX pays us under the expectation that we're also going to be doing those ads during our watch parties, which we can't do anymore. We also have a banner ad for Opera GX during the watch parties, which we can't use anymore. So the main two things Opera GX is sponsoring our esports org for has been banished to the fucking Shadow Realm. So what are they paying us for if we're to continue doing watch parties on Twitch? And it's entirely out of our control. It's not like we're choosing not to fulfill our obligations with Opera GX. Twitch just wouldn't allow us to, or else my channel would get banned on Twitch for doing so, I imagine. Now, Opera GX has been an extraordinary partner. I don't think they'd actually drop us for it, but they would have every reason to, because they wouldn't be able to get what they were paying for with our esports org and our watch parties anymore, because Twitch isn't allowing it in its current state, at least not as it stands from their first pass of this policy. It's just so fucked up. Now, it's not just, our esports org or, top streamers or anything like that. It's any streamer that would pursue sponsorships, which is a lot of them. Big and small streamers, all of them alike, do rely on sponsorships. And this hits everybody equally. It fucks everyone in the face all the same. It is an extremely greedy and corrupt, degenerate decision from Twitch. It is fucking disgusting. It's definitely worth mentioning that I have seen some arguments being made where Twitch might...
You're being biased. People have been leaving this platform because of their bullshit terms and conditions, and they ban people for literally as small as showing guns. Wait, I'm being biased. I haven't even said anything. I don't even... What? I didn't even say... Now, are you just imagining what I'm saying now? What's happening? White guy one?
Follow YouTube's example here and won't enforce it strictly.
Yeah, like by the way, I don't know if you know this white guy one, but I've shot guns on this broadcast on the platform, and certainly on this broadcast. Hold on.
Might just reserve this policy for bad actors only. And I guess that is entirely possible, but there's just no way of knowing. We just have to wait and see how it all plays out. But there's very clear ways this could be implemented that hurts every single person who uses the platform. And personally, I feel the reason why they're even making this policy update in the first place isn't necessarily to follow suit with YouTube or something as like a fallback protocol in case there's bad actors misusing branded content somewhere. I feel the reason they're doing it is to try and push all their streamers to do everything through Twitch. Do all of their sponsorships through their sponsorship programs. That way they can get a cut of everything. That's how I interpret all this. That's how I feel the motivation behind it is misguided, it's mismanaged, it's completely lost, it's geriatric, it's run by octogenarians, it's out of touch, and it is desperate. It is desperately trying to get its grubby little fingers, just plant these little piggies in each pie that happens on their platform, and that comes right out of the streamer's income. We've already seen them do that with the sub revenue, where they're dropping everyone to 50-50 sub revenue forever, non negotiable. And now they're doing it for sponsorships because on Twitch, all streamers, a lot of them are doing sponsorships. And when they do, Twitch sees nothing from it. They don't get any portion of sponsorships done by streamers on their platform. And that makes them furious. They got steam coming out of their ears. So this is their attempt to try and force streamers to comply with Twitch's ad incentive program or their branded content program, such as like the Twitch Bounty Board. The Twitch Bounty Board works kind of like a sponsorship where companies have approached Twitch to do like sponsored game deals, and streamers can go into their bounty board, click and see what's there, and then choose to take a deal where they're getting paid X amount of dollars for X amount of hours. And if they do that, Twitch gets a large portion of that income. To me, It just seems like the direction Twitch is going is do everything through us or else. It's only been—
Yep. That's exact. Charlie is right on this. You have been biased. You have defended Twitch in the past. Also, just because you haven't been banned doesn't mean they don't ban others. White guy, once again, I have been banned more times than whatever content creator you are talking about. I am, out of the top content creators on the platform, probably the content creator that has been banned the most. I've been banned more times than even XQC. If I'm not mistaken, that's what we looked at, right? The reason why I still defend the terms of service in spite of its vagueness, and it's certainly something that needs a lot of transparency. The reason why I defend terms of service across the board, or like a rigorous application of the terms of service, is because I believe that that's good to create an environment that is more positive. I don't think that you should allow hate speech on your platforms. I think Twitch does a good job of at least combating that better than other places. Not doing the best job. I don't think he's right that Twitch wants to take over sponsor sales. I think the reason why Twitch is doing this, and you can get on the call if you want, Lou the Wig. The reason why Twitch is doing this, I believe, is because they want to take over sponsorship sales and have an additional revenue stream. That's my speculation. That's my suspicion. But yeah,